Good morning, Academy 55 premium members and Academy 55 students everywhere. Here we are again on Thursday, the 29th of February, leap year day, an extra day God has given us. Anyway, put down to business. Here we see we're on the 15-minute time frame. We're trading the EUR USD on the 1 minute time frame, but we're on the 15-minute time frame at the moment. And a bit of housekeeping first. First, switch onto your MT4 and make sure your MT4 is ready. You're on the EUR USD on the 1 minute time frame. Your trading assistant is up. You've got log calc in purple, risk to reward 2 to 1. And all important, the 1% risk, because that's what we do, 1% risk. Back to the charts. As you can see, I've had this gray area marked up. This is all consolidation on the 15-minute time frame, lack of volume. So I was waiting to see price getting out of volume one way or the other. And as we're speaking, it is just breaking out of the volume area, which is good. But we have support and resistance lines that I've drawn off myself. If you want to learn how to do them, they're in the back office. Also, we've got imbalance down here. And we've got imbalance up there, sell imbalance up there. Imbalance down there. So this is what I'm seeing. So we can put it onto the minute time frame now. And what I'll do is I'll reduce that. I don't need that much more now. So because we've already broken out of there, out of that accumulation box. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my 8 to 9, because I only trade from 8 till 9. Going to mark those up to remind me. Nine o'clock. Scrunch up a bit. And 9 o'clock. There we go. So now I'll put my my Academy 55 indicators back on. And as you can see, we've got a bit of a sell now. But we're not yet at 8 o'clock. We're 2 minutes to 8. I want to wait till after 8 o'clock because London might have a different idea. I've already checked the news. I'm sure you have as well. There are meetings all day today in the European Parliament or whatever, and they're discussing the strength of the currency and all that sort of stuff. So, but it's not red flag. Meanwhile, we want to wait till after 8 o'clock until we act, because at 8 o'clock, like I said, London might have a different idea of pushing price one way or the other. More volume probably will come into the market. And so we will wait till 8 o'clock to see what happens. We're nearly there now. We are at 1 minute to 8 UK time. Nice to see everybody on with me this morning. So a bit of housekeeping, make sure you've got points of interest. These are points of interest. I like to do a bit of investigating work to see what price is doing. For example, if price hadn't broken out of this box, there's no way I would trade until price shows itself and breaks out of this accumulation box that we drew up earlier on the 15-minute, but it's broken out of that box now. So we're kind of breaking out of the accumulation area, and in a minute's time, more volume will come into the market because London opens. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. And now we've got a situation where the parabolic SAR has been flipped down underneath price, so we no longer can take that sell. And see, we have a bigger candle on 8 o'clock. So indeed, more volume has come in. I appreciate this is all experience driven, but the 95% of the Academy 55 indicator is red, 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 alert, and sell, red, 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 sell alert, red, 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 sell, green alert, buy, green, 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 buy. That's 95% of it, but what we're trying to do is give you a bit of experience of looking at the charts, trying to determine what price is doing. See, price respected the purple EMA line, the 462 line, and it's either going to bounce or break. In the meantime, formulating a little bit of what we call an FVG imbalance on the minute time frame. This might be filled out immediately or at their own leisure, at their own time. So we've got a buy. So we've got to put it onto the again, I want to see it break out of this grey box area that we've made for ourselves to sort of let me know that no more, so above there basically to let me know that we're not still in this accumulative stage. So in the meantime, anticipate stop loss at the bottom of the wave. Make sure I got my 2 to 1. Everything's green, green, green. The trend line's not green yet, incidentally. Going to wait for the trend line to go green, and then we could be in a buy situation, yeah, as quickly as that, because it's breaking the top of this candle now, which is coming out of the accumulative area. Waiting for the trend line to turn green. Got my stop loss where the wave started to go green. And I'm expecting that trend line to go green anytime now. But we'll have to wait and see. Be patient. Yeah, it's gone green. Right. Okay, so just a bit more of a volume push. I want to see. Right, come on. Right, okay, I'm in a trade. Because we got a buy alert. Parabolic SAR is underneath price. The green, the ribbon is starting to go green. The trend line is green. So stop loss goes on where the wave started to turn green. It sort of proved to me that we're out the accumulation zone because it broke this high area for extra confirmation. And like I say, this is the state of play we're at the moment. And now, yeah, it happened just that quickly. So we're in a trade now. We are now going into buy trend territory. I'm already in the trade. So I can investigate what I think price might be doing. We've got an FVG imbalance area up here, but also we have imbalance areas being created down here now. So we have to be sort of, and I'm just going to do this roughly at the moment. I'm going to make it a lot more accurate in a minute. So we got into the trade about here. Oh, I've even got the wrong. Sorry, I've got the wrong thing. Hang on, let's get rid of that. Long position. Got into the trade about here. Stop loss is all the way down there, where the wave started to turn green and the trend line turned green. My 2 to 1 is going to be quite well. You think it's a long way, but don't forget we are on the minute time frame. So as you can see, it's got 1 or 2 hurdles to sort of breach, but it sort of showed me that it's willing to come out of the accumulation box just here. So really, we have to wait and see what happens with that. It's got a reason to go up there because of the imbalance. But it's got to break that hurdle there, support and resistance line. So we will see. And if it turns around and takes me out, well, I've lost 1%. And memo to myself, I was a little bit too soon, obviously, but we have to go with what we see, not what we think. Let's put it on a bigger picture even still, on the 15-minute time frame. See, this is what I was seeing, all this accumulation. So we have to wait and see price breaking out of this area because we don't want to be caught in accumulation. So price did indeed break out there and tap new highs from all this area here. So that's what I acted on, and showing me that it was breaking out a bit, but how much volume and how much breakout, we don't know. So let's go on the hourly time frame now. We've got a big chunk of accumulation, FEG, fair value gap, just here. That's what I marked up earlier on, and price might be heading to that. We've got a lot of accumulation on the hourly time frame up here. So we might be going up to that area there. Let's go even higher onto the 2-hour time frame. So these areas here are pretty important that I've marked up already with this blue line here. And we see a lot of accumulation around about this area here. Let's go on the 4-hourly. And indeed, this area here is the highest it's been for quite a while. Let's go on the daily for a little bit. So indeed, this area here is the highest it's been since the start of the month. But meanwhile, we have this accumulation to sort of fill. They might fill that. And that's what we're seeing. Got quite a big, well, I say big stop loss. It's 40 down to, it's a 9-pip stop loss. So it's quite a big stop loss actually. So bear that in mind. So it had a little bit of a 8 o'clock London opening. It had a bit of volume coming into the market. All the buyers thought we'd have a bit of this and buy a bit. So once we get up to this area here, because we are the highest we've been, personally, because we're the highest we've been, once we cleared this, if we get to the stage where we settle on this area here, I'd be quite happy to get my stop loss from down there and put it to my entry. So we have a risk-free trade in, bearing in mind that we are the highest we've been for a while. So don't get me wrong, doesn't make me nervous. I don't get nervy about these things, but because they're the highest they've been, they might they might be thinking to themselves, you know what, that's as high as we want to go. And all the time they're probably bearing in mind. Let's just show you here. We've got Thursday, we've got all day, we've got red flag German prelim CPI. Let's see what that says. If you hold your mouse on the little yellow box, tells you what it's all about. And it's for the change in the price of goods and services purchased by consumers. Actual greater than forecast is good for currency. So you can read what the news could be all about, and that's all day really. So that's even more reason to hopefully get our money and get out of there. So greater than forecast is good for currency. So the forecast is 0.5, 0.2. So the forecast is 0.5. So that's greater. So according to that, it's good for currency. But you know, anything can happen in these meetings. And it's only one part, the German bit. Sorry, the German is the leading economy in the euro, but so therefore it is pretty influential, or can be, but we don't know how much influential it is against all the European countries. If it's really, really good news, obviously it'll act on it. If it's really, really bad news, it'll act on it. So that's where we are at the moment. But we're in the trade. If we lose 1%. So being a trader, you've got to do a little bit of investigating, a little bit of experience, find out what you think price is doing and why it's doing it. And it makes you feel a lot less nervous about taking trades if you can surmise what is going on in the markets and why it's going on. And that is the experience part, and that's the part we can't teach you. But by tuning into these lives, you'll definitely get an inkling of that, and it should cut your experience down by quite a lot, your own personal experience. Looking at the charts the way I look at the charts, doing a bit of investigative work. So thanks very much for everybody being on today. And thanks very much for the nice comments I received yesterday about reaching the 12% goal. The target that we set for ourselves each and every month. Achieved that yesterday. So thanks very much for the comments about that. So today, I've already locked in the 12%. I'm now trading on demo for you guys. And now we're seeing more accumulation. It's taking a breather, gathering strength, hopefully gathering buy orders in order to progress up the ladder, so to speak. But we're already in the trade. I think I might get this a bit more accurate. I think that's about right, but let's just double check. So get the line tool. Actually, it does say the coordinates on the stop loss is 1.08130, but the entry is 1.08418. 1.08418. All right, I'm writing that down. 1.08418. Stop loss is at 1.08310. I'm reading that off there. So I can now go back to Trading View and make sure I've got the right entry. 1.08418. 418. There we go. That's the correct. And stop losses was 1.310. 310. All right. So see, there we go. That's correct. And we're at entry at the moment, so that means my 2-to-1 will be a bit higher than again, which will be take me way up there. So that's correct now. My coordinates. Let's just do a bit more housekeeping. So put that there like that. Drag that up there. There we go. So there we are. That's where we are at the moment. Like I say, because we're the highest we've been, I'm going to protect my equity personally. I mean, you do what you want to do, I'll do what I want to do, but this is what I'm going to do. Once we get to this area here, if we get to this area here, I'm going to raise my stop loss to my entry. So I've got a risk-free trade for the rest of it, because we are the highest we've been for the rest of the month. We've already determined that. And the markets might be a bit nervy about being so high. We don't know that for certain, but I'm quite happy to have a risk-free trade for the rest of it. If it comes back down again and wipes me out, I have not lost anything. So I'm going to work. If price gets to this barrier here, even over the barrier would be better, because this is resistance at the moment. But once it breaks it, this will then become support, which will be good for us. But it's got to do that, yeah, obviously. And at the same time, I'll be a lot happier because I will be protecting my equity. My stop loss will be taken to my entry, but I won't be doing that until we get above these lines here, because that line there is also, I know that is a quite significant line. That is 1.08502, and so that's quite a significant line anyway. And I want to wait till price clears that, if it does, before moving my stop loss. We'll have to wait and see on that, because we have got a rather big stop loss, but that's the way it is. It's nearly a 12 pip stop loss, which is quite big. Oh, what am I about? No, 10 pip stop. 1.0831. Yeah, as opposed to. Yeah, it's a 10.8 stop loss, which is quite big for us. I haven't had a big stop loss like that for quite a while, but it is what it is. So protecting your equity is important because your 2-to-1 is quite a way away. Whereas usually we're in and out within like 6 to 10 pips, but this time it's got in reality it's got to go, well, it's got to go 20 pips, which is quite a lot in our world for the minute time frame. So we have to protect ourselves even more. So that's why I'm going to be moving my stop loss once we, well, if we get above these little barriers that I've seen. But until then, I'm quite happy to let it do whatever it's going to do. And if it does come down and stop me out, I've lost 1%. So we'll put it onto the MT4. This is where we're at. I'm going to get rid of that line. Actually, I could put that line. Yeah, I'll put that line on this area here, which is 1.08499. So I'll put it on 1.08501. 1.08. Double click. 1.08501. To remind yourself, if price gets above there, I'll put my stop loss to my entry and have a risk-free trade, whatever happens. If it comes down, so be it. The only thing I've done is gained education. I haven't lost any equity, because that's the first rule of trading: protect your equity. Second rule is protect your equity. So that is by doing a bit of investigating work on higher time frames. That is how I came to all these support and resistance lines. Now, as you can see, price is now coming up to tackle this imbalance area. It might tap it and then go away again, or it might go through it. Price needs balance. So in other words, this is I think it was on the hourly, wasn't it? Let's go back to the hourly again. This area here on the hourly, this big candle, as you can see, there's no buy on that side, there's no buy on that side, so that's all sell, that area there. It was mitigated by that wick there. So this area here is all in balance, and it needs to be equalized. Price love needs to be equalized. So let's go back to the minute time frame. All right, we've got a bit of a retrace. In actual fact, it sort of wicked where the imbalance starts and decided not to do that at this time. Maybe sorting out these imbalances down here. Who knows? I don't know. Needs to find some more volume. And at the time, and all the time, we've got this red flag news for the German market, which is part of the EUR. The main part of the EUR actually. So, but hopefully we'll get a bit of volume to break that imbalance area, which will be good for us. And I'm looking for price to clear this barrier here before I move stop loss to my entry for a risk-free trade. Whatever happens, I hope you're getting a bit of experience out of the situation. And we will put it back onto MT4. This is where we're at. I'll leave that line there because that was reminding me, once price gets above there, I can then move my stop loss to my entry and then have a risk-free trade, whatever happens. Because we've got red flag news all day for the German economy. And sometimes what happens is on the hour, volume could come into the market and move one way or the other, depending on what they said at the meeting. If it's good for the euro, obviously they'll carry on with the buy. If it's bad for the euro, then if they say something, then it might take a dive a bit, you know. But all the time, we're protecting our equity as much as possible. So all these things must go through your mind when you are actually trading. But the Academy 55 indicator is 95% of the work. It goes, as you know, it goes red, 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 buy alert, green, green, green for a buy, sell alert, red, red, red for a sell. So that's 95% of it. The other 5% of it is your mindset. Well, no, sorry, got that wrong. That's 25% of it. The Academy 55 indicator, the simplicity of it keeps you in check with your trades, because you're in line with the indicators that you're seeing. But the other 75% of it is your mindset and also your experience, all combined, and that's what gets you through the complete package. Like I said, unfortunately, experience is one thing that we cannot teach you. You've got to go through it. But by going on the lives, it'll certainly cut your experience time down and get you to really look at price the way I look at it, the way I think it should be looked at, rather than just relying on the indicator, doing a bit of investigative work. So we've reached a bit of an accumulated stage. Indeed, it could be waiting for news on the half hour or 9 o'clock. We don't know, but these things can happen. So like I always say, if you want to wait, what you could do also, if you want to walk away from your screen, because there is no benefit in you watching all this. It just plays with your mindset, gives you a bit of anxiety. So what you could do actually is this line I drew up here, right click, add alert on that line. I'm not going to do that, but and that alert. Oh, just move the line out. I know where it is though. There. You can add an alert on that line to alert you that price has indeed crossed that line. It'll send you an email or a pop-up, and then you could, if you're following me and want to do the same as I do, then that could alert you to the fact, oh, I better put my stop loss to my entry. Other than that, I really encourage you to walk away. There's no point in watching all this. It's a bit like going down and watching paint dry on a wall. all it does, it can't do any good. All it can do is harm by harming your mental state, your mental anguish, because there's nothing you can do. You're in the trade, and indeed, that's what it is. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it onto MT4, and I am going to go on to mute for a little while. And if there's anything important to say or come back at time, I will do so. So speak to you soon. So the conclusion I've reached really is rethinking this is the fact that there is red flag news all day. What we're seeing here is again accumulation. It could be that they are waiting for decisions to be made, good or bad, about the future of the euro against the USD. We don't really know what those decisions will be. So that makes me feel quite vulnerable because it's more of a gamble, really, how this will be. So I feel a lot differently about this trade now. I'm seeing a lot of accumulation. I mean, like I say, do announcements come on the hour? We don't know. So I'd be tempted to take the little bit of profit that I've got now and just with the experience and hindsight of what I'm seeing now, I'm not really happy with this trade because of that. So I think that's where I'm going to actually leave it. And I'm going to hit the close all button and walk away with a tiny, tiny, tiny profit. And then price will can do what it wants to. But because of red flag news, this is what I'm seeing. And this is my summarization of it. So indeed, if it does go to the 2-to-1, so be it. I've got a little bit of money. So I'm gonna close it all here because of my experience and what I've just told you guys. So I'm going to take a little bit of profit, roughly about 0.5%, but that's better than losing the whole lot because we don't know whether they're going to come out with good news or bad news. And it seems more and more obvious to me that they are actually accumulating and indeed waiting for news one way or the other, whether good or bad. And it seems a bit more of a gamble rather than trading. So with that being said, I'm going to close my profits here. And I'm going to stop sharing. And thank you very much for coming along today. And speak to you soon. Cheers for now. Bye.